Hi, welcome to the latest in a series of video content on intelligentinsurer.com. My name is Wyn Jenkins, the editor. I'm joined today by Jeff Saye, the Global Head of Claims at Genpact, who's going to be sharing some of his thoughts and experiences on the journey of P&C claims transformation, one that many of his clients are now on. We'll be talking a bit about what it means for the operations of insurers, also the jobs of their employees, and also talking a bit at the end about some of the future trends in this space. Welcome, Jeff. Are you well today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, Wyn.
Good. So a fascinating topic there, something we've done lots on in recent years, but the transformation seems to be accelerating all the time. Before we get into some of the detail on this, perhaps you could just start by telling us a bit about your role now and your experience in this space. We've got a bit of a sort of an anchor on who it is, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, that's great. So here at Genpact, I'm the head of claims, the claims leader that actually sets the strategy for what we do globally with the claims market. So that could be services that we deliver, the digital tools that we bring to market, also our analytic and data solutions, and also some advisory services as well. So I've led claims transformation initiatives across the globe. So I've been in APAC, EMEA, the US, and we're always focused on helping our clients realize better outcomes when it comes to loss, experience, and expense. So that's really what my role is here at Genpact, is kind of setting the stage for what we do in claims.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as I mentioned at the start, I mean, this is a very fast moving space at the moment. The industry is taking huge strides forward, really, in the way they use technology to enhance their claims functions. Before we get into perhaps some of the specific technologies, can you perhaps just give us a bird's eye view, an overview of what that journey's looked like in recent years and what some of the major drivers of change might be?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing that you said at the introduction is that you've been having conversations about this and writing about this topic for the past several years. And the line in the sand today always seems to be 2020 and what happened, pre-pandemic and what's happened during the pandemic and post-pandemic. And I think right up to 2020, we didn't have to convince anybody in the industry that there was a digital revolution that was here. They could clearly see that there was a digital revolution, but the decision point of when to start, where to start, that was the conversation that we were having prior to the disruption. And then obviously 2020 hit and we had that disruption. So carriers were forced to go into that. Now, there were some carriers that prior to actually set off on their digital journey and they went through the pandemic exceedingly well because they were well placed, well positioned. But those customers or those clients that hadn't, we actually started having conversations with them to get them on their journey. And they did. And so they started adopting these technologies. What we saw last year in 2021 was a reflection on what happened in 2020. So did they bring in the right technologies? Did they implement them the correct way? And so it turned into an optimization discussion. How can we optimize our digital landscape, based on how we reacted to what 2020 brought us? And I think 2022 and forward is actually building on top of that. So bringing in some more of those insurtechs and digital solutions into the frame to actually drive better outcomes for their clients.
Okay, that's really interesting. So you talk about 2020 as being this sort of pivotal moment in this digital revolution. But I'm curious, have you seen differences in the last couple of years in the way perhaps different sectors of the industry, companies in different geographies have perhaps embraced that change? And what might that possibly mean in terms of sort of global competitive landscape?
See, I think if you look at it from a global landscape and think about it in terms of geographies, I think the carriers in all the geographies are on a journey. They're just in different maturity stages of that journey, right? I mean, there's some that have better bandwidth, better internet connections that can actually bring in solutions and just easily get those implemented. There's some that think about the regulatory environment and how is that going to impact bringing in some of these tools and how does that drive the experience with the customer. So I don't think that there's any geography that I've seen out there that's lagging in terms of wanting to go on this journey. It's just kind of where they are.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to some of the technologies you see in, just before we perhaps get to your own, which we will come to. Yeah. But this seems to me a sector, it's full of sort of new words, a little bit jargon heavy. So some of the sort of words we see a lot is AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation. I'm just curious as to whether you see some of those or certain types of technologies being particularly influential in this space in the way they're being applied.
Yeah, we're constantly evaluating technologies, and we're doing it for our own internal use. Because if you think about where we are as a claims organization, we actually are a claims services company as well. So we have to look at the landscape and say what's out there and how will we implement it here. Now, when we go into a client and talk to them about how to enhance their landscape, then we have to know what's available in the marketplace. So as an example, one of the things that we're implementing is what we call extraction and ingestion. And that's when a document comes in, we can extract all the relevant data out and then ingest that right into the claim file. And then our data models start picking that up and making decisions on it. And so we're seeing that happen routinely. There's a couple of companies that that we're actually partnering with now that are very AI enabled. So if you think a company like Safekeep that brings artificial intelligence and the use of data into subrogation decisioning and subrogation models and improving outcomes that way. A company like Claim Genius is using artificial intelligence combined with computer vision in the auto claims process to help us make better decisions on total loss versus repairable. And then some of the leaders like Hover and Planner on the property side that are they're using artificial intelligence to create 3D images of internal and external properties just from a single photo. So all of those things, we look at and think, how can we bring those into our solution environment to actually strengthen not only our own product, but our own service delivery?
Yeah. Okay. So coming into specifics, I mean, your flagship claims product is called Claims Manager. Tell us about that. What makes it unique? How does it work? What does it do for clients?
Yeah, so Claims Manager is our flagship product, and I think that what we have to do is just take a little bit of a step back to where we were a couple of years ago. So in 2017, we acquired a claim services company that had a third-party administrator with it, so a full end-to-end TPA. And our vision was to go to the market with a really seamless approach to claim handling that brought transparency to it from a supply chain, a client, and a customer perspective. And when we looked at the technology that we acquired, we realized that it wasn't going to facilitate that. And so that's why we built out the Claims Manager solution. And it actually is an end-to-end workflow. I mean, the basic formation is an end-to-end workflow, a dynamic workflow that's highly modular and configurable. So if you think about the value chain of a claim, first notice of loss, coverage verification, adjudication, all the way through recovery and close, each one of those is an individual module that I can configure to the client's best practices. So whatever they need and whatever outcome they're trying to drive can be configured within the workflow. Now, it can be used a couple of different ways, right? I can deliver that outcome myself, or I had a client that wanted to use our F&OL module in their own technology stack. And so we just opened that up for them. And so they ran first notice of loss in their technology stack using the module that we created and customized just for them. Now, the best part about Claims Manager is the open architecture and the API layer. This is where we really differentiate ourselves, because what we're able to do is future-proof our technology landscape by bringing in the best of breed insurtechs into our own stack. So that way, if I bring in a Hover or Safekeep, right, I can leverage those types of solutions in my claims delivery. And I can also deploy those in clients where they want to just use the technology instead of using our services.
Okay. And in terms of, I mean, the thing people watching this will be most interested in probably is the benefits. Are you able to sort of quantify those anymore in terms of what they offer clients in terms of efficiency, accuracy, and I guess what it means for their own clients, the experience of the ultimate end users?
Yeah. So if you think about experience, experience has always been about cycle time. It's been about transparency and the settlement. So we baked in a lot of that into our workflows. So the ability to ingest data, make a triage decision, get it to the right adjuster and the right supply chain partner, actually reduces the cycle time of the claim. If I give access to the portals, the client portals, where they can actually see what's going on in the claim process and also have the push notifications that go to the client, that brings complete transparency to this process. And it's the transparency that happens with my supply chain, with the client, and with our customer. And also, if I'm using data at the right place, so all the data is going into our models, so it's helping us make better decisions on who gets the claim, what decisions they're being made, and actually helps out on the loss leakage. So if I'm looking at delivering a better loss outcome, a better expense outcome, and a better experience outcome, I baked all of that into the workflow that we created in Claims Manager.
And I would assume that would also have a positive impact on the employees using it. I guess allowing them to spend more time on sort of value-added products and work.
It really does, because I believe what you're going to see in the future is that the claims adjuster role is not just going to be an adjudication decision-making role. It's also going to make sure that they're taking care of the client. So, you don't want them bogged down and having to do a lot of manual tasks, manual activities in your claim system, and taking their eye off of, delivering that experience for the customer. And so we found that employee satisfaction actually goes up when they use a tool like this, because it's such a connected ecosystem that they're working in now, right? No multiple systems for different supply chain partners, no multiple systems to talk to their customers. It's just all incorporated in one single platform.
Okay. Taking a step back again and looking at the sort of wider claims transformation landscape, as we sort of term it, do you have any sort of predictions on the trajectory of development now, what the future might hold in the way claims departments might operate in the future?
The word that always comes to mind for the future is connected, right? So just connected to partners, connected to different insurtechs that are coming in and disrupting. They need to be flexible. So the flexibility comes with the technologies that are implemented. Now, the thing is that the insurance industry, when, as you know, is not known to be on the bleeding edge of digital innovation, right? And so a lot of times, they're looking to see what's going to happen before they feel comfortable to bring it in. But what we're seeing with the new market entrants, right, like the Roots of the world, the Hippos of the world, they're completely disrupting that. And so now you have really traditional insurance carriers looking to say, okay, in order for us to keep up with that, we're going to have to disrupt our own operation. And what does that mean? And so the carrier that's able to and willing to disrupt and drive change within their own operation are going to be the ones that are leading the way. And the ones that aren't able to do that or aren't willing to do that are going to be sitting back watching their competitors actually move further ahead.
Okay. Talking about the future a bit more, you mentioned the notion of connectedness there, but is there anything cutting edge that Genpact's working on that you can perhaps share, maybe an insight on with us now?
One of the things that we've set out to do is to create a claims process where the human intervention would be an exception. right? We want a completely seamless end-to-end claims process that can flow all the way through without a human touch point. Now, are we there yet? The answer is no, because there's things right now where a human does have to be involved. Unless you let a partner write an appraisal for you, right? Somebody has to write an appraisal on a home or a car and an auto or policy, or auto or homeowner loss, right? And so we're looking at it and saying, like the Claim Genius example, how can I use computer vision to ingest the photos, make the decision on repair versus replace, and it doesn't require a human intervention to do it, right? And up to that point, I haven't had any human intervention, and after that, I haven't had any. So I mentioned two insurtechs a second ago. When you think about Root and Hippo, right? Their experience through the acquisition and the policy servicing is touchless. It's all digital. And so there hasn't been a human intervention throughout that entire process. When it gets to the claim process, it needs to be the same way, right? That would be the expectation of the client. So for that insurtech market, that new market entrant, like Hippo and like Root, we're building that solution out for them that's different than the traditional TPA by using tools like Claims Manager and our data layer, and then our open APIs that bring in all these partners that can deliver this very, very seamless, touchless claim experience for their policyholder.
Okay. Okay, Jeff, I mean, we've covered a fair bit there, right from the sort of vision of the future to some of the specific tools you're looking at. Is there anything else you want to kind of share with us before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think it's a very exciting time to be in the insurance market, and especially in the claims world. I mean, I just think that there's change abounding all around us, and that change is going to actually separate winners and losers. And I think the ones that are open and will drive change in their own organization are the ones that are going to be a step ahead, and it's very exciting to see.
Yeah, comes back to that competitive landscape. Well, thanks very much for your thoughts on that, Jeff, and we'll see if some of those predictions unfold over the next 12 months, and maybe catch up again sometime. But thank you.
Absolutely, Wyn. I really appreciate it. Thank you again.
No problem at all.